Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be looking at my national open games, or at least round one. And this game requires a lot of context. Okay, this wasn't your regular run-of-the-mill chess game where all that's involved is chess. No. It was round one, right? So we didn't know what to expect, but one rule for this tournament, because it's FIDE, is that you only have 30 minutes to show up to your game before you get forfeited, rather than an hour, which is the normal thing for USCF. So we decided to go down to the playing hall, like to go get an elevator at like 6:10. And the round was at 6:30, so we thought 20 minutes to just walk to the tournament room would be enough. It was far away, but it was only like a 5-minute walk from our hotel room. But the problem was that we couldn't get an elevator, because every time an elevator opened up, it was just filled with people, just like way too many people already in there, so we couldn't get in. And this happened like 4 or 5 times, so eventually I was like, fuck this, I'm looking for the stairs. So the interesting thing is that the hotel apparently did not have stairs. I found something that was like, that said stairs, but it also said fire exit. But I thought that, stairs are always the fire exit, so I didn't like think anything of it, like you just don't use an elevator in case of a fire, right? So I convinced like 5 or 6 other people to go into the staircase with me. And no, the alarm didn't go off. No, it was actually worse than that. We all went in there. We were on the 7th floor. We went down to floor 1, and the doors were all locked going down from floor 7. So the only thing we could do at that point is go through the final door at the bottom, which it said this door is alarmed. Do not use this door unless there's a fire. But we didn't have a choice because the fucking doors were locked, okay? And we were running out of time. So we opened the door. Nothing happened. We decided to try and go deeper, and led us into the actual back rooms, where it was just like a white hallway that was like too skinny for 2 people to walk side by side, like only one person could fit. And the floors were just lined with garbage, and like old food and like bugs. And there was just like shit all over the floor. And we were like running down this hallway because it's like, well, eventually there's gonna be a door. And so we get to a door, and it's like, it didn't seem like anything, so we opened that one. And we thought that would be the last door, and it wasn't. We keep going, and then there's a door that says, all right, alarm is going to sound this time if you use this door. So we turn around to see if there's anything else we can do, but the door we just came from doesn't have a handle, and it like shut behind us loudly, and there's just nothing we can do. So we're freaking out because we're just like, we have to go through this door. There was also a camera at the end of the hallway, and the door that was like had red lights that was like, do not go through this door. There was a camera looking directly at us from the top, and we didn't have a choice. So we decided to just go through it and just accept the consequences, because we were just gonna stay in there. And it took us out. We were in like in a parking garage, like half a mile away from the playing room, and it's like 90 degrees. And then we just had to like run outside, like full speed running to the playing hall. And we got there on time. I was only like 5 minutes late for my game. But this is important, okay? Because I got there late, I didn't look at the clock, my opponent's clock that he had set up. And this is all important because my opponent did not set the clock correctly. And this is not something I noticed until it was too late. So this game, I did not have an increment, and it was one wild fucking game. What the game was like more wild than the experience leading up to it. Alright, so anyway. That was what you needed to know, and I'm just like out of breath, and I'm just sitting there like a horrible experience. I decided to like every other round for the rest of the tournament, I just showed up like 20 minutes early, just because that was so horrible. But okay, I was playing a master. He was, I don't know, old-ish. And he played 1c4. I prepped for, I don't know, something else against him, and he played c4, which kind of signals to me that he doesn't feel like playing that much. So, okay. Listen, e5 is a better move. But I didn't I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. So typically what I do is I just do what they do when I don't know what I'm doing. This is definitely a strategy. This was my I can't think. I don't have time to think strat. And the only thing I really knew is that typically when the knight comes to f3, that I put my knight on e7, and if he comes to e2, then knight f6. But I didn't understand why, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it unless I understand why I'm doing it. So I just played knight f6, hoping it would transpose into something I know, and it did. So castle is d4. Black is not doing so well here. I only have a few options, and I didn't really like any of them. I didn't like taking on d4 at all, because this is just sort of miserable. Because the problem is I don't know how to develop my light-scored bishop now. It's very difficult without hanging this pawn or hanging a pawn by allowing this. And it's just really not obvious how to go from here. Josh told me that one time he had this position with white against someone who I forget, and that person played like a6 here, which just allows c5, and now the bishop is like permanently gimped because there's just no way to get out now. So a6 is like the worst move of all time, so I didn't play that. I also didn't take on d4, but yeah, it looks like shit. And other options, like, I don't know, like d5 maybe. I ended up playing d6 because if he plays d5, I've actually transposed into a line in the King's Indian that I know quite well, and I've actually beaten several masters over the board in. So that was the idea, and if he takes, I'm not happy with this, but it could be worse. I kind of would be not happy with this position, but my opponent was moving instantly, by the way. Like, every move, he was playing, like, within 30 seconds. Except for this one. He thought for, like, 2 minutes here, and he played h3, which has nothing to do with the position at all. And to me, this is him telling me, well, alright, I'm a master, I don't really feel like playing chess, I'm just gonna, like, make moves and wait for you to make a mistake. And unfortunately, this is the style of many chess masters these days, where they don't really do much, they just wait for you to make a mistake. That's all they do. So at this point, I'm not really that worried anymore. Apparently, probably taking on d4 at this point is what I should do, which makes a lot of sense, because now I can just play bishop d7 here, or it takes, and I think the computer wanted, like, bishop e6. And this inclusion of h3 is just dumb. So, and, you know, there's always this tactic if he ever tries to defend that pawn. And, yeah, that makes sense. And I was thinking, you know, next move I'll probably have to take if he does nothing again. But I didn't think bishop d7 could possibly be a bad move. Because they've solved the problem here. And if he takes on c5 here, it's, I don't know, again, it's very dry position. I mean, I could probably hold this. This is, I mean, be hard to play for a win with black here for sure, but I'm definitely doing fine. And then my opponent played d5, which I was very, very happy to see, because now it's like the line that I love, but it's almost like I'm up a tempo. And a lot of the time here, I feel like somehow they'd play queen c2 and this is defended. Maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly, but so let's go to the move order this normally arises from, so you know what I'm talking about. And something like this doesn't matter the move order that much. I don't know. Where did he put his bishop? Or no, wait. This is like the move order or something. Hold on, just give me a second. It's like this or something. And then I'm attacking the pawn, and then they like do this, and then I go c5. This is how, you know, you normally get to a position like this. And if they take, I'm happy. This is fine. But I have an improved version of it, based on how the game went. So queen d3 is like, I didn't think very good. I thought knight d2 was probably better. Just the queen just feels strange on this square to me. And it did kind of get in the way at some point. So a6, and now the plan is just to play b5. And sometimes you even lock up the queen side here. And if you can lock up the queen side and the center, you can launch a pretty vicious attack, which is the way I beat a chess master in at Mid-America. That was a good game I played. Knight d2. And now I can play b5 right away, thanks to a tactic. So if he takes on b5 twice, I have c4, bam! And the queen has no way to keep defending the knight. So this is what I mean, though. The queen just looks fucking weird on d3. So it's just a really, really nice version of the positions you normally get. So b5, bam. Black is already like almost just better. Like it's very. I have no problems. I'm just happy because like think about how bad the position could have been for me. Just having trouble developing my light scored bishop, and just feeling like paralyzed. And I'm breaking out. The knight doesn't seem that great here, but it's actually doing jobs. So rook b1 is another move that's not that. It doesn't really do much aside from just stepping out of potential pins. Hello, Joe Bruin. I met Joe Bruin. I met Bali. He's in the chat. I met Cheesy Gazebo. Apparently, I played next to what was his name? What was his name? Show yourself, whoever you were. Joe Bruin was taller than expected. Yes, quantum check. Okay, but rook b1, yes. I mean, it's fine. Rook b8 is also not that great. I don't think I really... Does rook b8 have a real point? I'm trying to remember. Aside from just getting out of any potential things, just like he did. Taking on c4 is probably okay too. I did it the next move. This is probably fine. I was just playing it how I normally play these positions when it comes out of a King's Indian, which is like kind of put the pieces in a bind on this side and then try and lock up the center. The only thing I will say is that e4 is not already in. A lot of the time, before you play bishop d7, you play bishop g4 to induce h3 or f3. Then you play bishop f5 to induce induce e4, and then you play bishop d7. So you like force him to put pawns on light squares before you play bishop d7. That's a big difference in this position. And it kind of changes things a lot. So b takes c4 is probably good. Rook b, I mean, it's not terrible, it's just, I guess, missing the point. I thought at some point like I can even do this. Looks kind of stupid, but it's a possibility. So a3 is not so good. I played queen c8. This is where, let me really check. So I think it was around here. Maybe I think I played queen c8. I don't really like this move. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. I think my point, no, I remember. My point behind queen c8 was at some point, if he moves the knight, like if I take, and play knight b3 to d4, or like the knight comes back to f3, like takes, and then I have this tactic already like lined up, so I can just put a knight on d4 possibly. That was probably my idea. I don't think it's very good. I'm still just much better. But now I take on c4. Which I don't know if that really aligns with my last move, but it was at this point where I looked at my clock and I looked at my opponent's clock. My opponent has, let's see, 75 minutes. I have 27 minutes. And I look around at other people's clocks, and everyone else has an hour each. Now, I don't think that math is mathing, right? Like, that doesn't add up. Seems like something's going on there with that. And the shitty thing is that even though I noticed, like, I asked my opponent, I was like, hey, is there an increment on this clock? And he's like, yes. I was like, I don't think there is. I really don't. I don't think that there is. But I didn't know what the rule was for FIDE, and I didn't feel like I could get up and go, like, figure it out. I know I could have paused the clock, but I guess I was remembering the USCF rule that I'm pretty sure that the clock just stays how it was set when you play that way. For FIDE, apparently they change it, but I didn't know that. So, thankfully, shout out Alexander Sue, YouTube enjoyer, was sitting next to me. Apparently he went and he told the tournament directors at some point about it, because, you know, everybody looked over when I said, is there an increment on this clock? I didn't know that was an option, but they didn't come add an increment to my clock until much later in the game, which I'll let you know when that happened. But at this point, I'm just like, holy fuck. I have like 25 minutes left and no increment to play the rest of this game, and my opponent has 75 fucking minutes. And what to do with this position under these circumstances? I made a boo-boo immediately, because I calculated this, and I thought he had to take here. And I was like, this position looks great. I'm happy with this, which would be true. However, then I realized that this move is legal. And I was like, what the fuck? So I decided not to do this. Instead, I played bishop f5, inducing e4, and then playing bishop d7, with the idea of playing bishop b5, and now this can't happen. And that wasn't that great, but I mean, okay. It's what I did. And then my opponent played queen a2. And here's the infuriating thing. This is where it gets infuriating. At this point, I don't have an increment, by the way. I don't know what I had. I don't know if I had a 5-second delay or a 30-second delay or no delay at all. No idea. All I know is I didn't have an increment. The queen is on a2. Like, that's not a normal place for the queen. But it's, like, annoyingly useful there. I don't know what to do about it. And I need to start doing something, is what I thought. I said to myself, this is an old man I'm playing. This man doesn't enjoy thinking. He's playing in, like, every move instantly. So what I need to do is I need to complicate the position because he's old, so that he spends more time, so that I have more time to think on his clock. So of course I go for, like, a stupid attack. Oh. And I should point out, a normal looking move like knight d7, like, that looks great, you know, to prepare f5 and shit. Just hangs a piece, by the way. Look how stupid my bishop is. Like, how fucked up is that? I just thought I should point that out. So I can't use this square. My position is kind of garbage. Like, this piece sucks. This isn't really... None of my pieces are doing anything. I don't have any interesting breaks. I don't have any plans to play for. So of course I play knight h5. And the idea attached to knight h5 is bishop d4, bishop f2. That's what I want to make happen. Okay? And I realize that this is a little bit far-fetched, but you have to play the opponent. And I also need to say that before this game happened, I bought this book, Defend Like Petrosian, and I read the introduction to it, and I do not think I would have held this game, spoiler, if I hadn't read this shit. So let me read you. What are the main features of his defensive play? Intolerance of passivity. I don't like how I said that word. The search for counterplay at the cost of any concessions. Our readiness for unbalanced positions. The sharpest tactical vision. composure in handling of the worst positions. Optimism, a tendency to relax after emerging from a bad position. A love of exchange sacrifices. Keep all these in mind. Often hard to explain pawn weakenings. Preference for knights over bishops, an extremely rare quality for a player of such a high level. A depressed mood in the worst minor piece endings without counterplay. So, this was all like running through my head. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm losing this game. Like, I played the opening horribly. I didn't play it that great, but my position was good, and I made like 2 moves in time pressure, you know, like when I realized I had no time. That kind of made my position bad, and now I have to look for counterplay at all costs. And that's what I'm doing. So this is definitely at least my second favorite game I played. It's all downhill from here, basically. So, bishop g5, attacking the e7 pawn. So, what to do? Do I spend a move defending the e-pawn? Or do I say, fuck you, old man, and I play bishop d4 anyway? What to do? Of course, we play bishop d4. Takes on e7, takes on f2. Here comes the exchange sacrifice. This is bullshit, by the way. But it's not as bullshit as you would think. It's not that much worse for me. So if he takes on f8, bishop takes g3. Where do we go with the king? I don't even know. Like, all of a sudden, this bishop is actually doing something. This attack looks Stilben-esque. It did. It really did. But, okay, wherever he goes, I'm probably just gonna take on f8. And now he has some severe dark square issues, and black is actually winning here. So he can't actually take my rook. So instead he takes on d6, which makes a lot of sense. He's attacking both of my rooks, and he's defending g3. So, okay. What to do in this position? I thought I made a good move. The computer disagreed. I think it was a good practical move, though. So, what do we think? Yes, this is the average Zefcat symmetrical English right here. My attack has to work, by the way. Otherwise, I will die. So rook d8 looks like it sucks to me, because then he just goes here. Like, he's not gonna, I mean, maybe he'll take here, but that would be pretty stupid. He needs to keep this. This is a very good defensive piece. So Joe Bruin is not going to get it. I played rook b6. Of course, bringing another piece into the attack. And again, taking on f8 just loses. I could just take on f8 right now and just be calm. He has no way to defend this. It's just not possible. The bishop is all of a sudden helping. But instead, the best move is b4 here, which is, like, I had a complete blind spot for this move, or just the fact that this stupid fucking queen on a2, like, is good. What an attack, like a female tall. Thank you! Okay. Yeah, this move kind of would have fucked me up if he had played it. I don't, without my dark square bishop, I don't really have an attack. And I can't really retreat, because then there's I don't know, he probably just takes here, and then I resign. It's probably what should happen. But my opponent was old, and he didn't enjoy thinking. Okay? Sarah makes tall look like female tall. But the point is that I wouldn't have tried something like this against, like, a kid who enjoys calculating. That this was a practical choice. Okay? My opponent played knight takes b5, which is actually a blunder. But because Sarah has... Let's see how much time Sarah... I got under 10 minutes. Not that bad, but no increment. Sarah went Sigma Batman Alpha Monkey mode. I sure did. So Sarah was playing quickly, so Sarah just did this like an idiot. And now I'm losing again because of b4. But actually after rook takes d... I completely missed rook d6 because I suck. and then I'm doing fine here. And my counter, I'm down in exchange, but the dark squared like opposite color bishop attack is quite strong, and black is actually better here somehow. Kind of makes sense if you think about it. I'll at least get a perpetual. So somehow, I mean, the computer thinks black can win. But I was just, you know, oh, he took a piece, recapture. I have no time. And now he plays b3, which is like the same as b4 essentially, except lame. It's like an old man move. Like he couldn't muster up the strength to move the pawn 2 squares. He like dropped it on b3. Unfortunately for me, b3 is, you know, a really strong move as well. But yes, I cannot do this trade. That would be resigning. I need my dark squared bishop. So bishop d4, and at this point, I think that taking on f8 finally works now that this isn't an immediate threat. And I'm pretty sure he can just defend laterally with the rooks, and I mean, this is just kind of bullshit at this point. But thankfully, old men will old man. Retreating move, bishop f4. Black is winning again. The graph is pretty insane. It's just, it goes up and down, like every move's a blunder. But that's the point. Like if I hadn't done that, I would have just like slowly lost, and it would have sucked. So I kind of just sent g5. I thought it was automatic. I mean, I thought it was automatic. Apparently knight takes f4 is the best move, which I don't even think I considered, really. I think g5, what am I saying? g5 is the only move I really considered in that position. And then, like, following this up with rook f6. I think this is also sort of hard to understand that black is okay here with these pawns like this. I didn't think this was really a true option, but it's a good question to ask how he even defends the f-pawn. I didn't think this far ahead, actually, but black is like better here. I think it said like +2 or like +1.5. I didn't consider that for a second. I just sent g5. I thought it was automatic. And I think this is where the tournament director came over and paused the clocks and had me write down the times. And it was like, hey, your clock is set wrong. And I was like, I know. He's like, I'm just gonna fix it if that's okay. It's like, okay, sure. Sure, buddy. Whatever you want to do. So I got my little increment added. The guy had the completely just incorrect setting on his clock. I don't know what it was set as to this day. I don't know if I had no increment or no delay or what. But at this point, I kind of want people to guess the evaluation after g5. Because I can calm down and breathe a little bit, because I have an increment now. But the situation is still not good, because I have 6 minutes left. I have an increment, but my opponent has 45. And this is the position. Yeah, this is bonkers. That is the correct assessment of this position. This really sad thing. I said after the game, I will be shocked if I was not winning that game at any point, and the sad thing is, at some point during this game, I was +6 after this point. But I was playing on increment for pretty much the majority of the rest of the game. Because you can tell when I'm playing on increment because I stop writing down the move times. That means I'm under 30 seconds. Or under a minute at least. Can you explain g5? G-file. We need an avenue from which to insert our rooks into his G hole. You understand? So yes, it's like +0.5. It's like white is slightly better. However, this move is not the most testing. I thought rook g6 was automatic. Computer says blunder. So how can white take advantage of rook g6? And remember, if he had read from this book before the game, he would have found this move. Because he would have realized that he's actually the one defending now. And so he needs to, let's reread the rules. Let's reread them. Where are they? Or not the rules, just like the qualities of Petrosian. Intolerance of passivity. The search for counterplay at the cost of any concessions. A readiness for unbalanced positions. The sharpest tactical vision. Composure in handling the worst of positions. Optimism. A tendency to relax after emerging from a bad position. A love of exchange sacrifices. And then the rest, which you already know. Defend like Zefcat. Yes, rook takes d4. Double exclam. Bam. That's what he should have played. And this makes a lot of sense, because, again, the only thing that I have going for me is my monster bishop on d4, and he just takes it away, and then it's like, okay, well, what am I... He has the bishop pair, he has two pawns. I have what? A half-open g-file that can be easily defended now. What was the book's name? Defend like Petrosian. What you can learn from Tigran Petrosian's extraordinary defensive skills. So yeah, I mean that was his chance. Queen d2, not a good move. King h8, good move. Again, the point. And bishop f4, and black is already winning. But also, black has, I don't know, under a minute. Black has under a minute. Defend not like Zefcat's opponent, yeah. So, I played knight g3, which I thought was, like, automatic. Again, I thought that was automatic. It's a good move, however, there is better. This move is only equal. Yeah, I like to buy my chess books, not rent them, like on usedcarsalesman.com, aka Chessable. So what do we think? How do we go Sigma Alpha Batman Monkey mode on this guy? Get yourself a juice pack sponsor. Are we all thinking, or are we all checking the computer? What's going on? Hello? When can I read Zefcat's book? I don't know, but this game's going in it. You know what game is going in it? My goddamn Rook Endgame, which we can look at today, actually. Time to sack. I'm not attuned to Sarah's intuition. I'm scratching my back looking for answers. Eating din-dins. I'm using the chess.com engine. Rook takes g3 for the style. No. You have to go rook g8. Which is kind of like, oh, well, no shit. I mean, that was like the plan. Just calmly prepare it. What is he gonna do? How the hell does he prepare for knight takes g3? How? I have no idea. Isn't that sad? But then I was like, oh, this is automatic. Like, what? Bishop takes g3 would have been best. Or b4. But he plays this sneaky move, rook c1. And his idea is that he wants to take me. So I just simply play queen e8. I actually think my queen is better on e8 than it was on c8. Because at least I'm putting some pressure on the e4 pawn. He had another kind of fucked up idea attached to this move, though, which I didn't anticipate until, like, he went here. Rook g8 is automatic. And then he has kind of a crazy defensive move. See if you can find it. And I mean, this guy's not bad. He's a master. He just was playing really fast. Yeah, rook c3. Very annoying. So taking would be a losing move, because this is check. And again, giving up my dark squared bishop is not an option. So instead, there is only one winning move now for black, and I did not find it. Let's see if you can. Rook takes g3, bishop b5 is what I played. Bishop b5 right away is the only winning move. It makes sense when you point it out to me, but I didn't consider it at all. I thought the only move I had was rook takes g3. And the point being, this is a checkaroonie, and then I just take here. And then he resigns. I mean, seems like a good place to resign to me. But, I mean, he can keep playing queen e1, and it's like not that bad. I still have a lot of hard moves to find in this position. I don't know. I feel like I could still lose this from either side easily. But I played rook takes g3 and queen b8, and my point was that if I play bishop e5... Wait, is this the line? Apparently it was, okay. Queen b8 I thought was like brilliant, and I'm trying to remember what my point was behind it. Well, I am having trouble understanding. I think d6 is what I was annoyed with. And I thought queen b8 was very cool. Like, stopping d6 and just waiting to bring the bishop to e5. But the problem is he played e5 here, and now, you know, I can't really take with the queen because of this move, and I would be losing if I did this. So I have to play bishop takes e5. And there was a lot going through my mind. I can't really remember all the weird details I was seeing. But now he has d6, and a queen trade is inevitable at this point. I played bishop d4, trying to, you know, keep my... I remember I played this move when I had like 5 seconds left on the clock, and I almost flagged. I don't know what I was thinking about. But okay, it's hard for me to make comments about these moves that I made with no time on the clock, because not a lot of thought was put into them. But at this point, it's like we've kind of evened out, so it's kind of like an equal endgame, right? I just have to defend this, and now it's like, if anything, I'm better, but still, it's just like opposite colored bishops, equal amount of pawns. And I just kind of walked my king up and swung around, gave him the old reach around on the a-pawn. And then this was a nice, easy way to draw, and just trade the rooks. And this is... I offered a draw here and he accepted. So I feel like I overlooked something though, because I remember seeing I was like +5 at some point in my analysis. Ah, yes. So here there's actually just like a crushing win for black that I actually looked at and I didn't correctly... I don't know. This is like where I played my safe move. Like where I was supposed to play rook g8, I sacked on g3. And where I played rook g8, rook takes g3 is completely winning. And I was trying to get this to work because obviously, like, if I'm giving him check, like on a diagonal, he can't go backwards. But I kind of just like briefly was like, I don't know, you can do this or this. Like, what's the big deal? But I mean, I'm just like calmly play rook g8. And I'm coming in. He can't defend this bishop. Queen f4, there's queen h5. And I'm like getting scissored. So I didn't see any of that. I just was like, I don't know, rook g8. And it's not like I feel terrible, like the game was ridiculous. Like I literally had like a 30-minute handicap because I wasn't, you know, getting that extra time for the first like 30 moves of the game. I mean, I exaggerated, it's more like 10-15 minutes, but still, I could have used those extra 10-15 minutes. But I'm happy because drawing this game is actually pretty impressive, all things considered, in my opinion. And then I was happy with this. Uh-oh. So anyway, what do we think about that game? Hard to calculate with no time. If you don't make, you lose. Yep. Show graph. Okay. That's not correct. I mean, that kind of worked, but that's not it. Is it this one? Yeah, here it is. It's quite the graph. I like the... C5 was bad, otherwise decent. I'm not arguing with you. I don't plan on playing that move again. I just was like... I basically spent all my time prepping for this tournament for, like, really common openings that I just happened to not get, so it was kind of annoying. Looks like the Rockies, yeah. But, I don't know. I was happy. I couldn't believe I drew that shit. And I would not have done it if I hadn't read this while I was watching the Eric Rosen simul.